The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra has even more upgrades than we expected, including a big upgrade to the display, and today I'm going to be sharing everything. Now first up, before we jump into the exciting S24 stuff, for anyone after the new Z Fold 5, the Flip 5, the Tab S9 or the new watch, Samsung are currently running a deal with a free storage upgrade and $50 off, so I've placed the links down in the description below for anyone that wants to check out the deal. Now onto the S24 Ultra though, and the first big upgrade we're getting is the new 3x telephoto camera, and Ice Universe has advised that we get a 50 megapixel 0.7 micrometer 1/2.52 inch sensor, and while it was initially rumoured that it would be upgraded to a 5x telephoto, Ice Universe advises that they're going to be using the zoom from the 50 megapixel telephoto to achieve great results with the 3x. Now next up, we've got reports that say satellite communication is going to be available on the Galaxy S24 series, and it's going to provide two-way communications for emergencies, and pretty much the same as we see on the iPhones. Now the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is already capable of connecting to low-orbit satellites, but the feature was never put into the S23 series, but the report states that Samsung have been working with Iridium Communications, and they're going to bring it to the whole S24 lineup. Now next up, we've got another tweet from Ice Universe, and he says that the Galaxy S24 Ultra has finally been given an upgrade to the display. While he doesn't give any further information, a new report from Chosen Media does shed some light. Now their report says that the S24 series is going to be using Samsung's M13 OLED panels, and these are going to be thinner, more power efficient, and of course a better overall picture, as well as offering higher levels of brightness. While we don't know the exact details of the display, it's estimated that it could offer an incredible 2500 nits of peak brightness. Next up, we've got news that the actual cost of manufacturing the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is going to be high, and this is hardly a surprise. Digital Chat Station advised on Weibo that there's going to be a much higher manufacturing cost for the new chipset as expected, and this is most likely the reason that Samsung are returning to Exynos in certain regions. A price rise is always expected, but it seems that with many phones next year, costs are going to be considerably more expensive. Now next up, for those of you excited for the Samsung Galaxy S24 series, we're going to run through the full specs, design and pricing for each model in the range. Now, the standard Galaxy S24 is coming with a 6.1-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get a resolution of 2340 by 1080, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panels protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. We get a 12 megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear it's a 50 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide and a 10 megapixel telephoto, and of course it's going to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, while European users are going to be getting the Exynos 2400. We get 12GB of RAM and a choice of 256 or 512GB storage, and this is going to be a UFS 4.1. It comes with a 3900 mAh battery, and while fast charging is still unknown, we're hoping to see an upgrade to something like 40 watts, but we do know that we're getting 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from about $850 to $900, and that's going to be in February 2024. Now next up, we've got the Galaxy S24 Plus with a 6.6-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get a resolution of 2340 by 1080, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, and again protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. We get a 12 megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies, then on the rear again it's a 50 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide and a 10 megapixel telephoto. It's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, and again, Europe users are going to get the Exynos 2400, and again, we get 12GB of RAM, and then the choice of 256 or 512 storage, which will be UFS 4.1. It comes with a 4700 mAh battery, and while fast charging again is unknown, we're hoping to see an upgrade to something like 40 watts, and again, we get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. It's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from about $1,050. Now finally, we've got the most premium, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. With the S24 Ultra, we've got a 6.8-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. It's got a resolution of 3088 by 1440, and again it's using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. we get a 12 megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies. Then on the rear, it's a 200 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, we get a 50 megapixel 3x telephoto, as well as a 10 megapixel telephoto with 10x optical zoom. It's going to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, with European users getting the Exynos 2400. And with the S24 Ultra, we get 16GB of RAM with up to 1TB of storage, and of course, it's UFS 4.1. It comes with a 5000 mAh battery, and while fast charging is still unknown, when it comes to the Ultra, we're hoping for an upgrade of something closer to 60 watts. We're also going to get 5G, Bluetooth 5.3, and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from $1,250. So the Galaxy S24 series is very similar to its predecessor in terms of the design, and Samsung's focus has been on hardware and user experience. Now this means it's probably not going to be worth upgrading from the S23, but for those on older S phones or looking to get their first S phone, then it's definitely going to be a great choice. Now of course, with launch being in February, we're going to get more and more information as we approach it, and I'll be sharing it as soon as anything comes in, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.